Hey, shalom, shalom. First, I want to start off by giving all honor, praises, and infinite glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors into the elders, apostles, and bishops of GMS Great Millstone who rule well, teach and edify. And peace and blessings to sincere Akim, Akwat in his household of faith. My name is Ishaya from the GMS Arizona Church in Ottawa, Ratazah. Gonna make an edifying video going into, it's not the time to be trusting everything. Trusting everybody. We have to be in the spirit of questioning fucking everything, man. And what sparked this, reading through the Psalms, the wicked are estranged from the womb. His words are as smooth as butter, but in his heart was war. Or war was in his heart. And it was actually an elder brother. He's made a video on a toothpaste that he's been using for the last 15 years. And he kind of just got that spirit, hold up, and questioned the toothpaste, and he took an iron or lead. He took a lead swab test and he swabbed his toothpaste, and it turns out that his toothpaste this whole time that he thought was supposed to be a good toothpaste, no fluoride in it, one that's marketed to be more holistic and natural, and it turns out it had lead. These devils, man, they truly are devils. And we cannot trust shit that they say, can't trust shit what they do, man. And we always have to be in the spirit of questioning that, and being the fact that these people are in the spirit of these devils, man. The people that are in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. All the nations have drunken of her wine. All the people of the nations have drunken of her wine, man. Going into Sirach, the 10th chapter and the 3rd verse, roughly around there, it's like the way a king is, like, so does his people also be. So even, brothers that deal with women, brothers that have friends in the world or co-workers and shit, we have to question these niggas, man. But not in a way that's gonna, screw your situation up. You don't want to go to the job site and start calling everybody agents and shit, but, you kind of just want to keep an extra eye behind your head, man. You gotta have eyes in the back of your head, and always really just kind of peeping the things around you and the people around you, man. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And if you read that in the NLT, it says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, we are familiar with his evil schemes. So the things that he kind of schemes on, man. The scriptures talk about their hearts seek deep. Let's actually get that real quick in Psalms, the 64th chapter, and the 2nd verse. That's the 64th chapter. And it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And then who is the workers of iniquity? That's Esau, Edom, beginning with the top banking families. Okay? The elites of this world. And it says, who wet their tongues, and that word wet going into sharpen, says, who wet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. And eventually, man, they gonna start coming against you Israelites. Those that say, those that come in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. 1 Corinthians 4 and 9, the apostles shall come last. So that judgment is gonna really start coming down eventually. And before that judgment comes down, there's that calm before the storm. But there's still sharks in the fucking water. There's still all different types of creatures and shit just looking and waiting for that storm to come out, see who gets shook off the boat. So they can snatch their ass up. Even a brother actually mentioned in the transatlantic slave trade, the sharks still follow the same paths that the slave ships went to and fro from, because people going overboard and throwing bodies over. It used to be like a frenzy for those sharks to follow behind those boats. And even till this day, those sharks, against nature, have a whole different line of, the way they move. I'm comparing that to even now, bro. Their whole spirit is going to be against us. They're going to fucking stop what they're doing and shit and turn against you. Some of these people, their whole fucking purpose in life is to try to be a stumbling block to you on the left-hand side, bro. The scriptures talk about those spirits created for vengeance. They're gonna wake up eventually. There's, if you in this truth, man, you just know the truth somewhere in the database. Somebody watching you. Somebody got their eye on you and shit. Somebody's that shark that, and ultimately we in that boat of Yahweh Shai, that protection, man. And if you fucking walk the plank because you don't want to act right in the truth and you don't want to follow the Lord and you do wickedly and you fall out of this thing, these people gonna get your ass, man. Hopefully that was a good analogy, man. You gotta stay, with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Although things might get rocky, the scripture, the Lord said, why art thou afraid, O thou little of faith? He said that to his apostles, man. His disciples is like, okay, I control this whole thing. I control, everything. And ultimately, man, we got to have that confidence as well. But even in then, although we know that our Lord, is greater than anything these devils ever could be, we still have to be circumspect, man. We still have to watch out, and that's what these, scriptures are for. They help us understand what we're watching out for and the type of people that they are. We're going into the 4th verse. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of lying snares privily. These devils are trying to lay traps, man. These devils are trying to lay traps, going into that word, order ab chaos, order out of chaos, man. They're going to use chaotic, pivotal situations to try to usher in this NWO, man. And this devil knows that this time is short. Let's get that Revelation 12 and verse 12. And that reads, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he know that he hath but a short time. So that great wrath, man, you're already starting to see that. Martial law has kicked off. They got, people with AR-15s just running around and shit, and it's only going to get more intense. More and more intense, right? So we have to stay circumspect and questioning everything. And not only just questioning these people, man, we got to question, ourselves and the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. Say you're so accustomed to going to this place, to this shop. Say you get cause me, I like to get like a coffee every morning. And, I actually, what type of effects does coffee do to your body? Things like that. Like, what is a constant caffeine? What is constantly introducing caffeine super early in the morning do to your body, and how does it fuck with your mind for the rest of the day? Things like that. Anything to try to get us sharper in this truth, man. And I'm not saying that you fucking quitting coffee is gonna get you a crown. I'm just saying, like, we have to make sure that we taking care of the temple, taking care of the spirit, and taking care of the body, man. Being a brother to brothers, man. So that's when it comes to, taking care of the temple. Are you putting good things in your temple? Taking care of the spirit. You got to question some of the women you deal with, man. Question some of the things you put time into. It's like, okay, what the fuck is with this, man? Like, is this helping my spirit? Is this actually guiding me closer to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai? Or is this, ultimately, gonna lead to my downfall somehow? Or is this ultimately gonna yield non-expedient or unfruitful things? Right? Because we are fruitful men. We are lively stones. All right, we don't invest our things into something that doesn't mean shit, man. We're not meaningless people, man. Scriptures talk about in 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, in the 26th verse, 26th verse, we're not as those that beat at the air. We don't do shit purposelessly. We understand that which we're doing, man. And we have to try to, stay in that realm of keeping focused and in line, and keep taking care of a body, taking care of a brother, man. Questioning yourself. So when you get around brothers, like, am I talking to a brother the right way, man? Am I doing everything in order, right? Am I in the right spirit, Shit, am I a transporter of a bad spirit because I ain't doing shit behind closed doors right, And that's the thing. We have to question everything, even in ourselves, man. Because ultimately, you get that Philippians 5 and 15. Nope. Where are we at? Is it Ephesians? So, like, I'm on a break. Ephesians 5 and 15. This is Ephesians 5, and I'll start at 14. It says, wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. And that's what days that we're in now, man. Shit is about to pop off soon. It's only a matter of time. There's going to be great sorrow brought upon this whole earth. And a lot of people are going to be caught in shock, man. The prophets, beginning with our elders and apostles on down and their elders, right, have been teaching, the understanding that even people in the world that you trusted, the scriptures say, thine own enemy shall be people of thine own household, roughly paraphrasing. So people of your own household could be, trying to stab you in the back the second all this stuff starts popping off, man. The Lord will put that spirit of vengeance on them, put an evil spirit on them to go against you, right? And people that you sorely trusted, that woman that you thought, okay, this was actually a good woman. She actually held me down. She done everything, she done everything right. And just at the wrong time, she gonna do that shit. She gonna stab you right in the back because you too comfortable with these people, man. You can't be too comfortable with these people. Only people in this world we could be comfortable with is our family. Who is our family? Says those that do with the will of the Father. Okay, that's who our family is, brothers, man. That's who you could actually kind of, you could trust. And even the apostles go into saying, after 20 years, I can kind of trust the guy. So even with that, man, I'm a young bro, so I can't speak on it too much. But it's just there's a level of discernment even amongst brothers, man. And we don't go around questioning brothers, but even the apostles, man, they bring that spirit. Ultimately, those that do the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua are those that are right, man. They're in the right mind. They're in the right set. Those are your brothers, and when we trust that, you have to be extra circumspect of everybody else, man. Extra circumspect. You see people in the world and shit, even your own mother, man, your own father, and ultimately, whatever the portion of the Lord has unto you, for you have to deal with, because some brothers are going to have to deal with that, man. Not every brother may have to deal with that, and definitely, brothers is going to have to go through an experience like that. And it cannot shock you, man. It can't shake your faith. Because if, we're all trying to seek the kingdom here, and you can't lose the kingdom for nothing. There's no fucking second place. You don't get a participation reward in this truth, man. It's either you are the elect, or you're going to deal with the fiery indignation of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, and even then, the elect shall scarcely be saved. So, this is no laughing matter. This is no light thing. Although sometimes you might be like, oh, it's whatever. It's just, you don't got to be super, you don't got to wear your cape everywhere, man. Like brothers say, you got to be kind of like Clark Kent. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth, man. You ever got a person that's asking too many questions, you kind of just keep an eye on them, like, what's up with you? Because some people are just genuinely curious about us. We're like a light that shines in the world, man. A spirit upon you, man. The wisdom of man maketh his face to shine. So ultimately, some people are going to be like, who's that guy's power? What makes that guy the way he is, to where he's just glowing? So, but it's ultimately that spirit of discernment. I actually watched a video from the brother from the Kansas City, and he was going into you have to have discernment, man. You have to have that spirit of discernment, and that's actually a very beautiful video to watch, man, because he just goes into the reinforcement of, you have to just peep things through the spirit and see what's right and what's wrong. All right. Matter of fact, I wanted to get what was that? Proverbs 23. Salaki, let me look it up. This is Proverbs 23 or 22 and verse 3. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So we have to, foresee the evil, man. Foresee the evil in ourselves, foresee the evil in things, foresee the evil in excerpts of our life, you know, that a regular man wouldn't understand. But Khan, I hope this lesson was edifying and well said. I want to lastly give all honor, praises, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, Shalom.